Victoria is the capital city of the Canadian province of British Columbia. On the southern tip of Vancouver Island off Canada's Pacific coast, the city has a population of 85,792, and the Greater Victoria area has a population of 367,770. Victoria is the seventh most densely populated city in Canada with 4,405.8 inhabitants per square kilometre. Victoria is the southernmost major city in Western Canada and is about 100 kilometers from Port Angeles, Washington, by ferry coho across the Strait of Havane-the-Fuca. Named for Queen Victoria, the city is one of the oldest in the Pacific Northwest. With British settlement beginning in 1843, the city has retained a large number of its historic buildings, in particular its two most famous landmarks, the Parliament Buildings and the Empress Hotel. The city's Chinatown is the second oldest in North America after San Francisco's. The region's Coast Salish First Nations peoples established communities in the area long before European settlement, which had large populations at the time of European exploration. Known as the Garden City, Victoria is an attractive city and a popular tourism destination with a regional technology sector that has risen to be its largest revenue-generating private industry. Victoria is in the top 20 of world cities for quality of life. According to NMO, the city has a large non-local student population who come to attend the University of Victoria, Victoria College of Art, Camosun College, the Canadian College of Performing Arts, and high school programs run by the region's 3 school districts. Victoria is popular with boaters with its rugged shorelines and beaches. Victoria is also popular with retirees who come to enjoy the temperate and usually snow-free climate of the area as well as the usually relaxed pace of the city. Prior to the arrival of European navigators in the late 1700s, the Victoria area was home to several communities of Coast Salish peoples, including the Songhees. The Spanish and British took up the exploration of the northwest coast, beginning with the visits of Juan Perez in 1774 and of James Cook in 1778. Although the Victoria area of the Strait of Havane-the-Fuca was not explored until 1790, Spanish sailors visited Esquimalt Harbour in 1790, 1791, and 1792. In 1841, James Douglas was charged with the duty of setting up a trading post on the southern tip of Vancouver Island. Upon the recommendation by George Simpson, a new, more northerly post should be built in case Fort Vancouver fell into American hands. Douglas founded Fort Victoria on the site of present-day Victoria in anticipation of the outcome of the Oregon Treaty in 1846, extending the British North America, United States border along the 49th parallel from the Rockies to the Strait of Georgia. Erected in 1843 as a Hudson's Bay Company trading post on a site originally called Camosun, known briefly as Fort Albert, the settlement was renamed Fort Victoria in November 1843. In honor of Queen Victoria, the Songhees established a village across the harbour from the fort. The Songhees village was later moved north of Esquimalt in 1911. The Crown Colony was established in 1849. Between the years 1850 to 1854, a series of treaty agreements known as the Douglas Treaties were made with indigenous communities to purchase certain plots of land in exchange for goods. These agreements contributed to a town being laid out on the site and made the capital of the colony. Though controversy has followed about the ethical negotiation and upholding of rights by the colonial government, the superintendent of the fort, Chief Factor James Douglas, was made the second governor of the Vancouver Island colony, and would be the leading figure in the early development of the city until his retirement in 1864. When news of the discovery of gold on the British Columbia mainland reached San Francisco in 1858, Victoria became the port, supply base, and outfitting center for miners on their way to the Fraser Canyon gold fields, mushrooming from a population of 300 to over 5,000 within a few days. Victoria was incorporated as a city in 1862. In 1862, Victoria was the epicenter of the 1862 Pacific Northwest smallpox epidemic, which devastated First Nations, killing about two-thirds of all natives in British Columbia. In 1865, the North Pacific home of the Royal Navy was established in Esquimalt and today is Canada's Pacific Coast Naval Base. In 1866, when the island was politically united with the mainland, Victoria was designated the capital of the new united colony instead of New Westminster, an unpopular move on the mainland, and became the provincial capital when British Columbia joined the Canadian Confederation in 1871. In the latter half of the 19th century, the port of Victoria became one of North America's largest importers of opium, serving the opium trade from Hong Kong and distribution into North America. Opium trade was legal and unregulated until 1865, when the legislature issued license